Hey everyone, I said that I would add onto my adoption list. So a little bit more about me. I was adopted in 1985. I was adopted by my paternal grandparents. When I would talk to them, I never called them mom and dad. I always called them grandma and grandpa. I know who my birth parents are because they've always been in my life. My birth mother kept flying in and out of my life my whole life, and I cannot find a way to get along with her at all. My birth father, at one point we did have a good relationship, but it ended real quick. And it's sad. It is. But anyway, I was adopted in 1985. I was 11. I have always lived with my grandparents my whole life. I don't think I was ever meant to be the biological parents' kid ever. I never wanted to be with them. Never. I can't even remember a time that I wanted to be with them. I can remember them having to take me to Seattle, Washington, where my grandparents were, because they were visiting my aunt and uncle. And, yeah, I think I was a little brat. I just didn't want to be with them. I knew maybe somewhere in their hearts that they really did love me, but I don't think they loved me like they loved my little sister. I think I was the kid that happened right after her miscarriage, and it was just kind of like, yeah, I'm pregnant again, but I'm really sad about my last one. So when I got sick, well, I've been having issues about other things, along with being sick since I was a little girl, and she's always known about it. You know, was never kept a secret from her. But when I got sick with other things, and I would call her and ask her, hey, we have any of this anywhere in our family? Oh, no, but how did you get that? Well, I don't know. That's why I'm calling you to ask you. And so it was just, it was like I'm the one that brought it out, and blah, blah, blah. So sometimes it is really, really great to find out things about yourself, and if you can find the answers through somebody else, you're not necessarily going to find that answer with anybody else, and sometimes you just have to wing it and just learn as you go. Some answers I have gotten from Ancestry.com. For instance, my great-grandma, she had gastric cancer, and I can't remember exactly, cardiac arrest maybe, or she had heart disease or something. But anyway, she ended up dying because of the heart issue. She didn't die because of the because of gastric cancer, but she died because of the cardiac issues. So anyway, that was nice to know, because here I've got gastroparesis and Crohn's disease. My uncle had colon cancer. Well, that's really great to know, because, again, I have Crohn's disease. But now I'm in the clear of being able to have colon cancer, because I no longer have my colon, my rectum, or my anus. And that's where I call the Barbie butt, because they sew you up like a Barbie, and there is nothing back there. So I want to say I had a closed adoption. But really it wasn't. When I went to go get my birth certificate changed, like it should have been a long time ago, they said that they would have to contact him and ask me if I knew any addresses. So I did the contacting and sent them the emails that I got along with the information, and they just used it. So I know in closed adoptions, they cannot tell you anything, much like the parents. They can't tell them anything. But what they can do is you can write a letter, and they can write a letter, and they can put it in the file, and then they can contact you. But anyway, I got that information, but I didn't know it. I've been sealed up in the desk forever until I went through it, and then I found it. So anyway, it still really didn't matter at that point, because the only thing I found out about anything that's on that side of the family is that everybody started going through menopause right around 35. And I've been going through menopause since about 35, 36. So that's not anything new. But as far as anything else, if there is anything else, they're just not telling me. And they don't want to talk to me, and I really don't want to talk to them either. So I just don't, I can be nice, and it's kind of like just, I don't know how to take it. Sometimes I take it in a sarcastic kind of tone, maybe. And then my birth father, he's told me some of the things that I know, but that's about it. I asked to be adopted, because I always lived with them my whole life. The birth parents, and they never really had a place of their own. They were always renting out my parents' houses, and never had a place of their own. They always lived with us. So anyway, but I was adopted, and I was given a really wonderful life. I was spoiled, rotten. There are people on my mom's side of the family that do not like me, or my grandmother's side that do not care much for me. And I don't know really why. I don't know if it's because of things that other people have said. And I have family members now who are trying to contact me, who are wanting back on my Facebook profile. And why, I don't know, but I'm not putting anything out there that I just really care for anybody to see. I have my friends. I have relatives that I keep up with, and the only ones I want to see. So, even though I was adopted into the family, there's still a lot of family issues, and it's like whenever one person dies, that was like the person that kept everybody together, kept everybody from fighting, and you always had that one person in your family, and that was my mom, my grandmother, and now she's gone, and everything's gone chaotic, and I just choose not to be a part of it. You know, when you're sick and you're in and out of the hospitals, and you know somebody calls you and you think they're calling you to see how you're doing, but yet they're calling to talk to you about what's going on with them. It's like, well, at this point, I don't even know if I'm going to make it out of the hospital. Even my own doctor doesn't even know if I'm going to make it out of the hospital, if I'm going to die. And you're calling me about this, you know? And then you got people saying that this person's your sister, and then you offer for a DNA test because you don't believe it. And then they don't want it and telling you to, I'm going to put it in a nice term, get lost. That's not how I was told. You know, being adopted also gives you issues. It's not all hunky-dory. Because then you have other people who are not happy with the fact that you got adopted. They're not, they know that you're in a better situation than what you would have been if you would have been with somebody else. But they're not, they not been sure all these years if your adoption went through. And then you have somebody that as soon as your grandmother died, that that they think that they are, or they're trying to make it look like that they so loved your grandmother so much, but yet didn't want your dad, your grandpa, to adopt him, so he would be a Stinson and not something else. And so he was all for that and blah 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 blah, and then he got pissed off whenever he found out he wasn't left anything in the will. And yeah, and like I said, somebody dying brings out all kinds of people out of the woodwork, because he thought for sure grandma was going to leave him something, and she didn't, because he wasn't my daddy or my grandpa, what do you want to call him. So, you know, there is things that go on, and then the ones that have been adopted, people start looking at you crazy because, well, if you were never adopted, then we would have got this, but we were. So, and even if I hadn't have been, I think that my grandma still would have left me something. My mom was in the hospital dying with cancer. We didn't even tell my grandma that she was sick, because my mom didn't want us to tell her, because she was so sick. And so when she was first put in the hospital, my mom was in the hospital, and she called and she told me, she said, Anna, she said, Grandma May is in the hospital. She's in, I think she was in CCU, I think, cardiac care unit. I think that's where she was. But they called, they say that she's yelling for Anna, and we need to find Anna and have her come up here. Who's Anna? And she says, so we told her that you're her granddaughter, you're always with her, and we'll find you and have you come up, even if it's past visiting hours. So it wasn't visiting hours when I went. First of all, I had to find out which hospital she was, because there's 2 hospitals in Bowling Green. So, of course, the one I figured she'd go to was Medical Center, which is where my mom was, and that's not where she was. So then I went to Greenview, Greenview Hospital, I think the name of it, or Woodview. I don't remember. It's something Green something hospital, and it's down Scottsville Road. So I went down there, and my poor grandma screaming for me. I found out how much she loved me. So, okay. So anyway, my grandma was hollering for me, and I went in, and I sat with her for a while, and she went back to sleep, but she was very happy to see me, and I promised to go up there more, which I did, and I ended up being both my grandma's favorites. And so, you can't go around pretending that, you know this person and you know how they are, and think want to make people think that, they love you and this, that, and the other, and act differently when the proof's in the pudding. So I'm going to get off here now, and I will come back tomorrow, and we can talk about some more things that's happened in my life, because there is a lot of things. We were only covering just the surface. So anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.